Let's ask somebody who knows exactly what it's like at our southern border and what needs to be done to protect it. Former Border Patrol Chief Rodney Scott, good morning. I'm a little speechless right now because as our correspondent Allie Bradley was there live, there were people being smuggled over the fence in real time. I mean, you've worked on the U.S.-Mexico line. This position by Mayorkas to just kind of remain silent seems irresponsible. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, does he think that people just jumping over the wall, like we saw there, is not a security threat?
Yeah, it's beyond troubling. It should be considered criminal. First off, when he started to testify, before he testified, he had to stand up, raise his right hand, and swear an oath that he would not only tell the truth, but the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Allie's report right there, I've worked that area many times in Naco. Guess what you didn't see? You didn't see any United States Border Patrol agents out patrolling the border because of the catch and release policies that this administration has put in place and refuses to even have second conversations about. That is overwhelmed Border Patrol. Another part of the hearing yesterday, Senator Cornyn grilled the secretary about the cartel's tactics of using large groups or even like this, multiple small groups of illegal aliens to distract and overwhelm Border Patrol so that then they can bring in other threats right behind that. And he played ignorance again. And it's beyond, I think, a level of incompetence. I know the secretary knows. We provided all that information when I was chief. He is misleading, very intentionally misleading America, lying to America, and not fulfilling his oath of office. I've never seen anything like this in my entire career.
It's so troubling that in a country where all you have to do is go on the internet and you can see some of the stories. Now, obviously, I just had somebody that I was talking to. He immigrated here to this country from Guatemala. He said this is the best country in the world. He's working to feed his family. He says that people from Guatemala are coming all the time because this is the best country. And you see that side of it. But then you also see the flood of fentanyl coming across our border in record numbers. You see children as young as 1 year old being dropped off without an adult. And for Mayorkas to say he was not aware that the cartels actually manipulate immigrants into smuggling drugs and flooding certain border crossings because agents just aren't there. Why would he say certain things like, I'm not aware? Why would he say this isn't a crisis or not even admit that?
Because the man has no integrity and he actually sees the border. I've come to the realization he sees it very different than you and I. He doesn't see this as a problem. He does not see open borders as a problem. And he speaks in partial truths. So here's the catch. They talked about fentanyl coming through the ports of entry yesterday. That's in fact true that we catch most of the fentanyl at the ports of entry because there's a CBP officer standing there waiting to inspect everybody. And they do a phenomenal job there. But throwing more technology and more resources at that front door, and that's basically like our home's front door, is the equivalent in this situation of putting like another Ring doorbell or another camera on your front door while you have gaping holes in your wall. This secretary refuses to be honest with America. He needs to be held accountable. Like that, he really needs to be impeached, if for nothing else, just not being open and honest about what's going on. Policy differences aside, this is not about immigration, and they want to make it all about immigration.
I have one more question.
This is simply about knowing who and what is coming into our home and making sure they come through the front door, and he's not doing that.
I think you make a good point there because there are a lot of people who think that, people who are conservative, people who are Republicans, they're overreacting. This isn't a crisis. This is about we are America. Bring me all that, who need help, who need asylum. But just knowing who's coming in and having a certain sense of order is part of life in any realm. But why is it that Republicans and Democrats have not come up with a solution? It can't be squarely pegged only on Secretary Mayorkas. I've talked to members of Border Patrol. They say all these Democrats speaking, it's nothing. But also all Republicans do is talk, talk, talk. Ted Cruz is going to be fired up, yell at Mayorkas, but we still don't have a solution. So what's it going to take?
So again, partial truth. So I agree there's problems on both sides of the aisle, and I was a government employee, not a politician. But here's the deal. We found solutions throughout the last several administrations. Every administration that I worked under in my 29-year career, the border was getting better and better. We did push things to Congress that we wanted them to basically plug holes in our immigration system so that we can protect the legal immigration system by controlling illegal immigration. Unfortunately, and we showed it worked. The border was getting more and more secure every single day. There was still a lot to be done, though. But this administration went completely backwards and tore down everything that was put in place that was working, including things that were put in place by the Obama administration, the Clinton administration. Their mentality of this open border is just this utopian mindset that doesn't really work. It doesn't
There's
exist.
somebody else climbing over the wall right now. Rodney Scott joining us, Chief Rodney Scott. We're watching people just climb over the wall. Now, again, we've seen them flood the wall.
Can I point out something to your viewers real quick?
Sure.
That the person you just saw climb over the wall is going to be in your city or town soon. So that's the other problem. A lot of people see this as a border issue. This is a transit area. Nothing stays at the border. It's all going to cities and towns across the United States, whether it's narcotics or people.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.